How to write a dissertation. It is a problem that everyone who is going to do a research work, a thesis or a dissertation for master degree or MD will face sooner or later. So here I'm trying to give an introduction, an overview of the sections of the theses or dissertations and the specifications of each section and what the student should write here or there. First things first, we have to check the instructions of the university and prepare the working file. The first thing is the title, and here the title is very problematic, in fact, for students how to formulate a good title. So to help the students to formulate a good title, we have some tricks. We call it the PICO format or the SMART format. We shall discuss this in detail next slide. In the PICO format stands for population, intervention, comparison, and outcome. These 4 items. The population means, for example, nurses in the ICU, cancer ward, in a tertiary hospital. So we specify our population, not nurses or doctors or Egyptians or the Americans. We have to specify the population we are going to examine. We here specified nurses in the ICU or in the cancer wards or in both in a tertiary hospital. Now the intervention, what we are going to intervene. We are going to give them recreation vacation. We may increase income. We may give more days off. Comparison, what we compare after or before. We compare about depression symptoms. We want to test the depression symptoms. Testing depression because nurses in the ICU are more prone to suffer from depression because of the high level of stress they face. So we want to intervene. What if we give them some recreation vacation, some more money, give them more day offs? Could these interventions alleviate the stressful state of the nurses in these hospital units? So what is the outcome? What I'm going to measure? I'm going to measure the well-being. I'm going to measure the productivity, whether they more productive. I should have some scale to measure this productivity. I should measure the activity. Maybe they after give them the nurses more money, they become more active, and I should find out a scale to record this activity. I define the activity, what I should measure in the activity, what I should measure in the well-being, maybe the number of patients, the happiness scores, the feeling of satisfaction. So I have to measure the outcomes. This outcome should be measurable. This is about PICO format. We have also SMART format. SMART format, the title should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bounded. Nearly the same principle of the PICO, like here, this is a title, Factors that lead to increased child abuse in Egypt. Here in this title, it's not specific. We have factors, we have many factors, and we don't know how to measure these factors. I don't know if these factors are measurable or not. Some factors we cannot measure. Achievable, can we measure all de facto, by mean all the factors. And relevance, how this research title is relevant to the Egyptian. Do the Egyptians suffer from child abuse? And when they will do this? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you will do it retrospectively and or prospectively, cohort study, or what is it? So this title is vague. It is good for a review. You want to review a literature. However, even in the review literature of the literature, you have to be more specific. Let us see this title. Here, the influence of low socioeconomic status on child abuse in rural areas in Egypt during COVID-19 pandemic from 19 to 20. Here it is more specific because I am going to examine the socioeconomic status, the effect of socioeconomic status on child abuse in the rural areas in Egypt during the time bound. Low socioeconomic state is measurable. Yes, I can measure low socioeconomic state by defining the upper limit or the lower limit of the income. In the rural areas are already defined in Egypt. This places are considered rural areas. This place is considered an urban area where there is an agriculture maybe, and the time is already achieved. Is it relevant to the Egyptian about child abuse because of the low socioeconomic status in the COVID-19? This is questionable. I don't know, but I try to formulate this suggesting that it could be relevant. However, if this question is not relevant to the Egyptian, so your research will not be of interest and nobody will read it. So you may change the child abuse to something else. Maybe to measure the state of well-being, state of depression, state of productivity. These things may interest the Egyptians more than child abuse because the Egyptians are peaceful people. They don't abuse their children to that extent, and if there is any accidents or any reports about child abuse, the heaviness or the stress of this child abuse may not impact the family in the rural areas because of the society in Egypt is lives in harmony in big families like that. So we can discuss something else, or maybe it could be really you noticed in a cross-sectional study or cross-sectional study in the course that there is a rise in child abuse in Egypt, and this may alert you, and you should examine this problem. So the relevancy to your people or to the global level is important as well. Maybe it's important for the Egyptian only, not important for the others. So you have to be relevant not only for the people or the population you are studying, but you should have some sort of global level as well, especially when you are going to publish in international journal. That's all. Thank you very much. I hope to have. I like water and like beach life, in fact. So I prefer when I am stressed, I go to the beach and I spend a few hours there. Thank you and wish you all the best.